Good. If you've got good teeth, John, you might as well use them. That's great. That's really nice. Yeah, keep it straight at me. I love it. If you tell soldiers to be serious, it straight away. Really good models. That's nice.
I went in there with no agenda other than to photograph what interested me, and a lot of the time it always comes back to the portraits because that's my main interest.
That's nice. Good, 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 good. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Good. The personalisation of it was when we actually saw those real men coming back from a 3-4 week patrol covered in all the dust, and I think it's just whatever I do, I always end up going into the face. So you know, you can get to know the guys really.
Let me just get to the. So these are the guys from patrol. Again, we noticed they were looking quite bedraggled, and then while they were just having their sort of debrief or being told areas of the fob where the showers were, where they could get a cup of tea, I went around with a camera and I was just sort of shooting through them and realised that these guys had this 1,000-yard stare and this look in their eyes that really told quite a story. That image particularly the way his hands are down low, you could almost imagine that as prisoners of war. They had such an expression. But that's quite a pivotal image. I mean, I think the whole book from 2008 builds to that image. It's fascinating coming out here and seeing the military machine. All these camps are built out of nothing from the earth that was there.
Right, okay, let's just see what's over there. Coming back to Bastion and seeing the drawdown and seeing how it's all disappearing. And in fact, this is my last day here and coming round to the last point, which is at the warlike scrap area. Finally, finding this as my last picture is quite ironic. The Hesco that's been such a part of all the pictures since 2008. To see it without the sand and the grit and the gravel in, and looking quite sad and, you know, ready for the scrap heap.
Imagine a world where soldiers who fought in the land where 9/11 was planned are finally coming home with 13 years worth of memories. Back in April, war photographer Robert Wilson went to Afghanistan to record the withdrawal of British troops at the end of their last tour of duty. This week, his photographs of those soldiers and the battle-scarred world they knew are on display on nearly 60 billboards and other sites around England and Scotland. Some have a touch of irony, pointing out just how far away there lies the life they left behind. Others offer a bit of wry humour, like this fortified bus stop in Kandahar, which is now on display at a bus stop in the town of Yeovil. Yet all of these images bring home to their doorsteps the mundane moments and the haunting beauty of the conflict that claimed the lives of over 450 of their brothers in arms.
The Sensory War coincides with another exhibition about war in the 21st century, taking place outdoors. I went to find out more. I've come to a car park near a supermarket and a DIY store just off the Finchley Road in London to look at a billboard, which is actually the starting point for looking at a remarkable new exhibition. It's one of 59 billboards right across the UK, showing individual images taken by the photographer Robert Wilson. He's just come back from his second trip to Afghanistan, where he was working as an official war artist, capturing life with British troops as they're coming towards the end of their tour of duty. And indeed, British presence is going to leave for good. The Prime Minister David Cameron only a few days ago acknowledged what he called the high price that British soldiers had paid out there. 453 have died, hundreds more have been injured. And these series of billboards are all a kind of public outdoor exhibition called Helmand Return. And this one next to me is a vast photograph of a Royal Air Force airliner at night, lit up on the tarmac with a long line of troops making their way to board it. Robert Wilson is with me now. What was the background to this shot and what is it like seeing it here?
Yeah, it's fantastic to finally see the fruition of really what's been a year in the making. I went out to Afghanistan in 2008, where we produced a book from that time, and I wanted to go back at the time where this is coinciding with the closing down of Camp Bastion. This image in particular was probably one of the pivotal images in respect of the returning soldiers and trying to show that the closing down of Camp Bastion, the handing over to the Afghan forces is happening And so it was like a metaphorical coming home, and then bringing it into the UK streets for people to see, for them to realise that it was a coming home. But for so many, really, it's not over. So it really is about the images that they're going to be bringing back with them as well.
What did soldiers you met say to you when you were taking images like this of them leaving?
Well, not a lot at that time. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, that one, and they just wanted to get on, which was their last flight back home. In that image there of the plane and the troops going on is literally them finishing their tour, and they won't be going back to Afghanistan. Of course, they will be going off to other parts of the world. But it's obviously important to mark what is 13 years that we've been in Afghanistan. It is a large chunk of time. But in terms of photographing the troops, other than the sort of wider pictures like that, when I was doing the portraits and going in and getting the sort of more sensitive images, the closer shots of people sort of within the tents that they sleep in, or the little piece of metalwork that they would work on to send to a loved one back home. I mean, it's like in 2008, they're incredibly welcoming.
And some of these images, they're going on the sides of bus shelters, and it struck me looking at some of them that, you know, they're these beautiful, very close-up portraits of individual soldiers. There's a lovely image, which I think is going up in Stockton-on-Tees, of a female soldier who you just notice in the corner of the frame is clutching a lollipop.
Yeah, well, all the images, they're either going up on 48-sheet billboard posters or the 6-sheet ad shells on the side of bus stops. That one, with it being a portrait, is going on a bus stop. All the images have been chosen to echo the environments that they are in. We were donated the poster sites. We got biographical data from all the soldiers that we took photographs of. And so we asked for specific areas, sort of communities that would be most affected from the last 13 years.
Where soldiers had come from.
Yeah, so we had a large contingent from certain areas. So we definitely asked the poster sites to be put in there. That particular image you're talking about, that's a lovely image of this soldier, and she's just got a little lollipop. That's going right outside a sweet shop.
The whole drive of commercial photography in terms of advertising billboards is to grab people's attention. Yeah. And it seems to me that there's something about this conflict which went on so many more years than anyone thought when it started. And this idea that it didn't play out at home unless you were directly touched because you had a military connection. It was possible to be oblivious in a way to what was going on out there. And I wondered how far those tensions were ones you were exploring.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, that's one of the pivotal points of it. When I went out in 2008, I spent a lot of time with troops on the ground. And in 2008, it was sort of, the atmosphere was quite hot at that time. And one of the main aspects that I came away thinking about was how this conflict, whenever it finished, I didn't know at 2008 when it would finish, but how it would go on for a long, long time, particularly in the minds of those that had served. I was spending time with 19, 20-year-old guys who had a 1,000-yard stare, having just come back from a 4-week patrol, having seen some images that will never leave them.
Robert Wilson. And Helmand Return will be on billboards across the UK until the 19th of October, and an exhibition of his images will be at the 1.5 Gallery in London from the 17th of October until the 30th of November. If you search online for BBC Front Row, you can see images on our website and find out where in the UK his photos will be posted.